Happy Monday night. Happy New Year's Eve. Eve? Just two Eves? Two Eves. Yeah.
New
Year's Eve is in a fortnight,
yeah.
Stacy.
Sure. Guys, welcome back to the Fantasy and Frames Draft Show. We're the same people, but we are no longer the Waiver Show. We are the Draft Show, and we're the playoff edition. Just because week 17 has come and almost gone does not mean that your fantasy season is over. We are going to be doing some really fun playoff tournaments here the next few weeks, get you ready for the Super Bowl, maybe try to win back a little bit of money that maybe you lost earlier this year. And, you know, since everybody's doing a wrapped on their 2024 season, we're going to be doing a wrapped on our 2024 draft season. So we're all here. How are you guys doing? We got any championships on the line tonight for you guys? Anybody?
Got a couple.
Got a couple. Got one we drafted on these airwaves. Actually.
Yes, we do. We will talk about that one when we get down. We are going to give you guys updates on all of our teams that we drafted over the summer with the draft show, and you guys were a part of that, and the women's tournament that we drafted back in March, the Vampire League that we drafted right before the season started, and some of our drafts in between. And then we're going to be letting you guys know what we are going to be doing throughout the playoffs to get you guys ready and up to date for those playoff tournaments that are out there and that are really exciting. If you have any comments, any likes, any questions, anything, throw it in the chat, please. Make sure we can get to it before we go tonight.
I'll take the time to do a shameless plug if you don't mind.
Let's do it.
I know that the fantasy football regular seasons may be ending, but myself, Kevin Thompkins, and Joe Matz do a little DFS show every Friday night, and we ain't going nowhere, in the words of Leo from the Wolf of Wall Street. We'll be here every Friday, all the way through the Super Bowl, helping you build lineups for the wild card, divisional rounds, conference championships, and we'll obviously be doing single game slates for the Super Bowl. Plus, we'll be covering Week 18 next week. So come hang out with us every Friday at 9 p.m. Fantasy and Frames.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, doing the Lord's work.
Oh, sorry, Rich.
Oh, I was just saying, doing the Lord's work.
Well, we're just degenerates is really what it is. And whether or not we were recording it or not, we'd probably be nerding over which guys to put in our DFS lineup. So
that's why we're doing the draft show playoff edition, because we're a bunch of degenerates. Guys, before we get started, we're getting started now, but before we jump on over and talk about how we did with our drafts this year, we're going to go through, we got some fun names. We got some NFL superlatives from this season that we want to talk about. Hopefully you feel the same. If you have any other options, any other nominees for these categories, please throw them in the chat. I'd love to see them so we can talk about those and either lament or celebrate our choices. I feel like there's going to be a lot more lamenting on this show. Celebratory, pats on the back there.
Oh, is this where we talk about the Falcons? You talked about, I just want to make sure.
People are already depressed enough as it is during the holidays, Keith. We don't need to give them another reason, okay?
I mean, why would you call a timeout with 35 seconds left with two of them? It doesn't make any sense. You got to save the timeout so that way you have two with 5 seconds left for your kicker. Jesus Christ.
Well, the Bears also messed up in the timeout, department. So let's not even talk about that. For the second
time, playoffs weren't on the line, though, Erica. That's the frustrating part. Is
this our post Festivus airing of grievances? Because
yes.
I would like to know why in the absolute fuck Matt LaFleur is running the ball down 17 in the third or fourth quarter.
I asked that yesterday.
Like,
that's a great
I did. I had some Packers pass catchers and DFS lineups that were slapping, and to have like a great day, I just needed a little bit from Dontavian Wicks, Kraft, and I'm going, why are they running it? They're down 3 freaking scores.
Yeah. No.
I mean, it almost worked for them.
But that's the point. I think to Kevin's point is it's like, man, imagine if you had a little bit of that time left.
Like that, the 2024 Green Bay Packers offense is an offense that Arthur Smith would like wet his pants to coordinate.
You've seen the picture of Randy Marsh from South Park after he finally gets the internet and he's able to relieve himself. If you haven't seen that picture, it's my favorite to share anytime I'm very excited about something. He says, quote unquote,
NSFW, but
yeah, well, that's all right. It's free. Come on.
And it's this kind of program, though. To be fair.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
I don't know why you're all so angry. I mean,
fuck you, Rick.
That's been pretty cheeky over here.
I've been pumping you guys up, and I'm happy for you.
Yeah,
But
that's
I'm less happy when my team is
good.
done.
Happy for you.
It's all in line
Serious
next
question,
week.
who's
It
the
all
coach
comes
of the
down
year?
next week.
Because
What's
that's a
that?
really difficult to me. It's the most
Dan
intriguing.
Quinn.
Do you
Yeah.
really think he's coach of the year over
AOC?
like Harbaugh?
He
over-
won't get it, but he should be.
Wow. Okay. He
Look
was
at
one of the
that
names I was going to
roster.
say.
We don't like Rich's guy.
I was gonna say I'm biased.
That's
and I
who
wanna
I
say
would
Howe
like.
should
but
get it.
KOC, come on.
I honestly think Campbell should have it.
Harbaugh doesn't deserve
Like
some
I'd run
credit.
through a wall for that guy, and it's not my team.
Yeah, I
Campbell
like to
with all
live
the
for Dan
injuries.
Campbell's Monday morning victory speeches on
Yeah.
online. Those are my favorite thing ever.
Yep.
I mean, Andy Reid will not get
stop.
any. I'm just saying he won't. Exactly. Nobody's going to mention him. His team's 15-1. They lost Rashee Rice at the beginning of the season. Almost every one of their main weapons has been hurt outside of Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying that this is one of, in my opinion, the most interesting coach of the year discussion ever, because I think there's a legit like 7-8 guys that, deserve a claim to it.
I think Andy Reid will be just fine with his third Super Bowl trophy in a row.
I mean, Harbaugh has how many though too? He has to have a couple at least.
Yeah, I'm sure he won it the year they went, the
AOC
first time they went to Super Bowl.
Yeah, if it's not Quinn, I think it should be KOC with that roster and like defying expectations. I mean, let's face it, the Vikings weren't going to be the record they were like when we started the season. We're talking about them as like a fringe playoff team, if that. So
Yeah.
They're
Well,
15-1 in
we were
the
supposed-
toughest division in
supposed to be the
football, which
last
to me
division.
is shocking. Yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to be last in the division. Like Bears
Yeah.
got Caleb Williams. They were supposed to have it all figured out this year. That trio of wide receivers.
Mhm.
Like that is the one thing we definitely overcame some talking points.
Yeah. Well, guys, we've got a couple categories here that we're going to start off with, and the first are pretty similar, so we can talk about them together. We got the best rookie for your team, and we got the rookie who you would undoubtedly give your firstborn child up for in order to go back in time and take more of this person in drafts this season. That's a really long category title, but I think you guys get it.
Respect it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know, who are your players? Erica, who are your rookies?
I mean, I may be a little biased after last night's performance, but Jaden Daniels has been one of the top QBs in the league. Like right now, he's 4th overall in fantasy points. And he killed it last night and killed me in 2 of my championship teams, which is disappointing. But he's been such a fun player to watch, too. Like, he just makes plays happen. So he's been one of my favorite players. And then, of course, the rookie I would give my firstborn child to draft more of would be Brock. Because, I mean, you underestimate these rookie tight ends all the time. And I wasn't expecting...
Most people underestimate these rookie tight ends. Thank you.
No one was really... Most people were not expecting Bowers to come out and, play like he did. And getting all of these, accolades that he's getting. And, yeah, he's also a fun player to watch. I'm excited for him next year, too.
Kev, who are your guys?
1 second. All right. So like best rookie, I mean, I would love to say Brock Bowers. We're going to be saying him pretty much on every other category, it seems like. So I don't I don't think that this guy is getting enough publicity for doing what he's done this year, and that's Brian Thomas Jr., who we all pretty much shoved into the as a first round rookie, we put him like below even like Lad McConkey and some other guys. And all he's done is be like what we hope DK Metcalf would be. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Hopefully.
Well, and to do what he's done with the quarterback that he's had. I mean, Trevor Lawrence wasn't great, and now Mac Jones, like he's still producing. That's amazing.
Right.
Yeah. So just in yards per route run on a minimum 100 routes among wide receivers, he's 9th. Like with like Mike Evans, Jamar Chase, Granted, there's some route space stuff with like Tutu Atwell, but like look at Ladd McConkey. Like Ladd McConkey's right there. Amon-Ra St. Brown, guys like that. 28% first read target stuff. Yeah, so he is right there with the elites, and I would argue that he should be firmly in the second round next year in 2025 as far as fantasy assets. And keep in mind, he's done this with like Mac Jones the last quarter of the season. We're going to get Trevor Lawrence a full, hopefully healthy and ready to go. We know he's going to be the top target for Jacksonville. He is going to be the engine. It literally does not matter what cornerback you put in front of him, what defense you put in front of him. All he has done is produce, and I don't understand why he's not getting more.
Kev, are you confident if T-Law is the QB? Because the target rate has been significantly more with Mac Jones, even like in his earlier starts when T-Law was banged up a little bit. Do you think that's just, flat out they realize now, look, this is the best chance of us winning as we throw it to him no matter what. And T-Law's target rate to him, is closer to like, say, what Mac Jones has been this season next year?
Well, even if it's not, like, he's been massively efficient too. So It's not going to, I don't think it matters. And even if he gets the volume, it literally does not matter the situation in which Brian Thomas hits. Like he is, I think I called him yesterday, inevitable Brian Thomas, because that's just what he's
the Thanos of fantasy football.
Exactly. So yeah, Brian Thomas is going to be a guy that I'm going to probably draft 40% of next year, because I can't imagine not getting in on the ground floor of this guy. And because he plays in Jacksonville, because he has some other targets around him too, I feel like people are going to kind of gloss over him when you're looking at names like, the CeeDee Lambs and the Justin Jeffersons, and, even going down further into like wide receivers with like Nico Collins, wherever T. Higgins ends up, Puka Nacua. Like, I think Brian Thomas, that's your upside, is him amongst those names, and you're going to get a discount on him, maybe a few picks, but just because he plays in Jacksonville.
Right.
Kev, before we move on, we're going to talk about that spreadsheet that you had up there.
Yeah, that's my baby. That's what I've been putting a lot of.
Good luck, Stacy. I've been trying to get that for fucking 2 months. It's like Fort Knox over here. So.
No, I was just impressed with your spreadsheet.
That's the tip of the iceberg, Stacy. You
showed me really is the tip.
No, I know that. That's what I'm saying. That is the tip of the iceberg.
I'll
put that behind a paywall, and I will be happy to throw some cheddar your way.
There could be something to that coming up, actually.
Nice.
Oh my goodness, Rich, who's your rookie for the season?
Sure. So my rookie for best rookie for the team, and also the one that I wish that I could give my firstborn child to if I had one, Brock Bowers. I know that we're going to be saying his name a lot, but I think those are the only two actually that I put him down on, was back to back, or the first two questions. Tight end one, he was a tight end one in all but 6 weeks this year, averaging 15.5 points per game. He is one of the best tight ends in the league, and I was wrong. I will eat crow on that. I really I didn't think that he was going to be bad, but I really, like you were saying, Erica, it was a rookie tight end. I didn't think anything of a rookie tight end.
You listen to me for 3 months. I'm taking this personally.
That's That's fair.
He was an 18-year-old in Georgia with like half a dozen NFL pass catchers.
Right.
And he was the main cog of a national championship.
Most receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns.
A.D. Mitchell, James Cook.
I was wrong, Keith. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? You want me to take another pie to the face?
I just don't want y'all to keep saying,
Would it help?
I was wrong. Just say, hey,
I listened to you about Ladd. I kind of just missed Bowers.
Yeah.
Hey, I listened to you about Bowers, which is why I didn't put him here, because I already had him on my team. But real quick, what's up, Angie? Good to see you there in the chat, and along with Brandon and Scampers there. Angie's going to get a mention a little bit later on in the show, because she is right now currently leading the women's tournament that we did back in March. we'll bring that up along with her team. And she still has George Kittle going tonight. She's already put up over 200 points. So Angie is just a straight baller. Angie knows ball.
Nothing you're saying.
Yeah. Guys, my picks, obviously Lad McConkey was favorite rookie for my team. I mean, he's basically like top 3 in every single rookie category. Like I'm looking right now, like, let's see, he's top 3 in yards, touchdowns. Let's see. Oh, he's 4th in targets. Oh gosh, like he's just an absolute stud. So Keith, I did listen to you about Lad McConkey, and I tried to take him everywhere that I could, and that worked out really well.
I actually have some more fun stuff on Lad while we're on him, because I got in an argument with a guy on Twitter the other day who was saying that this is Lad's ceiling and he's not that good. And I'm like,
Thierry.
Are you actually? That was the post that it started in.
I knew it.
And so I went and I said, all right, let's compare Lad to the best wide receivers in football their rookie year. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown. It's pretty shocking. He's a lot closer to these guys than even I would imagine. Now, the yards per route run, AJ Brown's a freak. He's 3.46, but Jamar Chase, 2.71. Justin Jefferson, 2.65. Lad, 2.55. You look at something like yards per team pass attempt, 2.38. Chase, 2.62. Jefferson, 2.71. AJ Brown, 2.35. You look at target premium, he's over 20%. Jefferson was not. Chase was not. AJ Brown was. And then the EPA, he's at 68.7 now. AJ Brown, 71.3. Chase was ridiculous. This was 109.4. It's one of the highest EPAs ever. And Justin Jefferson was 77.1. But my point is, this guy is a lot closer to potentially being like that guy than even I expected. Like Bowers, there's nothing that surprised me. If you heard all the things I said about him, I said I thought he could be number 1 tight end this year. I said he'd definitely be number 1 tight end. He's generational. Lad, I thought at best could be a really, really good number 2 wide receiver. I was wrong about that. Like straight up, there's a lot of metrics showing this guy could end up being that guy. And like the EPA number is hurt so much from the fact that freaking Quentin Johnson has like 8 touchdowns on, I don't know, it's like 35 receptions or whatever. So I can't just believe the kind of year Lad's had. The other name I just want to mention, because we haven't really talked about him, is Bucky Irving.
That was my next person.
Oh, I'm sorry, Stacy. Go ahead, Stacy. Go right ahead. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You ruined everything. We wasted the good surprise on you.
I was Albert's message for Bucky. But I got distracted when you were talking, and then I also got distracted by this apparent fight that's happening with the Lions and Niners. What's going on right now? John Jennings just got pushed, and then he pushed somebody else who I don't remember. Who's 0 on the Lions? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
I have a lot of DraftKings lineups that really don't need Juwan Jennings to get ejected. I hope that's
they got some stuff going on.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
They got.
I only need like 100 points in my Battle of the Sexes team, but sure.
I'm sorry, Stacey. Go ahead and talk about Bucky Irving.
I just was going to share, and then I'm sure you've got some other stuff, but I just had a couple things about Bucky Irving. Is that when I went to Bucks training camp at the beginning of the season, I happened to be like right in the area where all the running backs were, and I looked at Bucky Irving and I was like, this dude is barely taller than me, and I'm 5'3". Okay, like he was a little guy, but he looked so good even during training camp. I was really excited about him. And lo and behold, over 1,000 yards this year, 7 touchdowns, highest yards per attempt for any rookie running back so far with a minimum of those rushing attempts. Also top 20 in fantasy points per game, higher than his counterpart, Rachaad White. I just absolutely loved Bucky Irving this year. I cannot wait. I sent a tweet or a text yesterday, and I was like, I can't wait to take Bucky Irving like everywhere next year. I can't wait.
Yeah, I completely co-sign that. Again, big shout out to Kev, who just talked me into Bucky Irving. He was somebody that was not on my radar really until we started doing all the draft shows, and then completely flipped me to where he ended up being one of my most owned roster guys, especially for a 0 RB guy, which again, for all the people saying it was dead, au contraire, my friend, like you want to go James Conner, you want to go Chuba Hubbard, you want to go Bucky Irving. There's plenty of running backs you get late that end up feasting. The other guy, J.K. Dobbins. The other guy I just want to mention really quick because we have not said anything. Malik Neighbors reminded us again yesterday wait till this dude has a QB and some semblance of an offense, because talent-wise, he is the best wide receiver in this class. Like, Brian Thomas is the smoothest of all the wide receivers, but Malik Neighbors is just a dog, man. And I love everything I've seen about him. I love the fact that he's like livid that the Giants suck. It's like, bro, the Giants sucking is good for you. And he's like, no, fuck that. I want to win. I can't wait to see what Malik Neighbors does. Because if you look at what he did with Daniel Jones before he got hurt, then he started getting banged up. And then the way he's closed the season, this guy is going to be a huge problem for people, you know, in the years to come.
He already has a huge problem. Dude had 160 targets this year, 100 catches, 1,100 yards. Like, we need some touchdown equity, and that dude's 101. That's where we're at with Malik Davis.
Yeah,
I had him on my bench in my championship team because he was questionable going into the week, and
he was like doubtful, I thought, at one point last week.
Yeah, it wasn't looking good.
Yeah, and then he goes out and was like, I'm going to score 40 points.
I mean, he's an easy first rounder next year, right?
For sure.
First rounder, yeah.
Especially, you know, they're going to obviously get an upgrade at quarterback, which is awesome.
Yeah. All right. So who the player that you, as soon as you saw that player on the other side of the lineup for your opponent, you were just like, I'm screwed. Like, who is it?
This is easy.
I think all of us picked the same person. Just about. Oh no,
well, Saquon Barkley, respectfully, disrespectfully.
Saquon Barkley. Holy cow!
Well, I would like to also add that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen belong on that list as well, because both of them, and Lamar really more than even Allen. Like, as somebody who had him and Scott Fishbowl, it was basically like 25 points every week, and then the one question was he going to have like 40? But I mean, Barkley for sure.
Can you just say any running back over 26 years old?
I mean, pretty much.
Henry, Josh Jacobs,
Mixon.
Mixon, unless it was the last part of the season.
True.
Talk about the last few games. So Barkley had 5 30-plus point games this year, and 4 RB1 finishes, 8 top 5 finishes. And honestly, when I was counting them up, it felt like it should have been more than that.
Well, again, remember, 12 touchdowns where they gave the ball to Jalen Hurts on the 1-yard line. Think if he got half of those. That's another 36 points on top of the total that he had this season. So it's really remarkable. My question real quickly for you guys is, what do you do if you're Philly? I think he's earned the right to go out and try to get that record. If he wants to, would you even make that an option for him next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No?
Not when you're on Tanner McKee, third string quarterback. Anything can happen at any point. You're the ultimate goal. I understand like records and stuff, but if you're playing, if you want a Super Bowl, this is probably your best chance at it. These chances don't come very often for
That's Saquon, right? He knows.
Exactly.
Right.
So
like, but if he wants it though, are you really going to bench him?
Like, how many yards are we talking?
I don't know if he would though, Rich, because I think there was something earlier this year where he had a chance to break his single game rushing. And when they said, hey, you're like 25 yards away, he goes, no, let Kenneth get in there. And like, just hearing that makes me think that they might maybe play him the first half, give him a chance to like, if you can do it in 2 quarters and break the record, great. I would be shocked if he gets 35 carries again, like just straight up. I think he's going to get 10 to 15 in the first half. If he breaks it, great. If not, bro, like, you're done.
Well, I mean, they're locked into the 2 seed, right?
Yeah, correct. I believe.
Yeah.
So they'd have to be.
Yeah. So that's another thing. Like, you're not playing for anything right now. You're playing for. You just want everybody healthy going into the playoffs. Like right now, as it stands, they're going to be playing Green Bay at home. So
do they have a chance at the 1 seed if the Lions lose this week and next week?
No.
Nope. No matter what happens,
Minnesota,
yeah. No, I'm sorry. If they lose this week, I thought if we lose,
if you lost to the Packers, then it would have opened.
Then it would have been okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
They needed a
that didn't happen, right?
A 3-way deal or whatever.
Good thing that didn't happen.
Yeah, too bad. That's
Good
unfortunate.
for you. Happy. For
All right. Well, then, real
All
quick,
that
this
rich.
is we're detouring, but then if we're going to talk about Barkley breaking records, same question. You better believe Mike Evans is going out there and Baker's getting him his 85 yards that he needs to hit 1,000.
Oh, that's
100%.
guaranteed.
That is happening.
That's well. I mean, they need it too. That's the
Just set your
difference.
watch
It's like
for
they
that,
have
too.
to. They have to win. I'm sure me and Kevin will talk about at length on Friday why you need Baker and Mike Evans and as many bucks as possible in your lineup,
Yeah.
because just like this week, they've got every reason in the world that they need to win. And on top of that, their defense does suck. Like I know last week it went well because Hubbard was out and really the Panthers were really banged up, but that defense is really bad. So they've learned their lesson and they seem to keep the pedal to the metal in the second half of the season, something that they weren't doing kind of in the middle of it.
Well, and they also had a duck on the field. So that made a total
That was
difference.
pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
I was watching that. That's the game I get here at home, like live, and they're like, "There's a duck," and then they actually kicked it off, and I was like, "Oh my god, are they going to run this duck over on live, television?"
But did anybody draw the duck
blocked.
blue? Because they've always wanted to see what a blue duck would look like.
That's fantastic.
Erica's like, what year is that movie reference from? Probably before she was born.
Like, that was on a movie? What?
You guys
So
want the
that-
duck though? The duck or the cat that came on the field at Thursday Night Football a bunch of years ago?
Oh, I
That
missed
was the best
Which one are you talking about?
the
that
Tony
one-
Romo cat. Where
Oh
he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
Is he
and
gonna
you
get out of
can use
bounds, Jim?
I always go for the cat though. Although what was it? The Miami game? I think it was last year where that cat was hanging from the rafters. It
That
took
was the
me
college
2
game,
weeks.
right?
Yeah, it took me 2 weeks to watch the video because I had to get confirmation from somebody who had seen it. The cat was okay.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it. It freaked me out.
That's the way I was. I was like, I can't see this.
Nope.
What was the one that Kevin Harlan? Oh, it was Kevin Harlan
That
called
was
the
the
cat running on the field.
That one,
Yeah.
and that was on the Giants field, I think.
Yes, on Monday
Yeah.
Night Football.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
that
that
was
was
a
the
great
call.
radio call. That's
National
It
treasure.
was the radio.
National
Yeah, it was.
treasure.
Kevin Harlan is the best play-by-play
Yep.
guy going.
Oh my gosh.
Cosign.
Oh, my
Pull up
goodness.
your drawers, my man. That was him, right?
Yep.
Oh gosh. All right, guys, we have to air some grievances. Biggest disappointment for you this year, Erica?
I said Anthony Richardson. He's just been so inconsistent all season. You couldn't guarantee, starting him any week, and then he got benched. Sure, he's played, decently the last couple of weeks, but drafting him at number 6 quarterback overall, thinking you'd get that rushing upside. He wasn't a quarterback that you expected drafting him that high.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was tough. Anthony, do you guys ever I know I've sent them to you guys, but and this is for people in the chat too listening, watch on TikTok the Gridiron Heights.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you send them to me, I watch.
Okay. Hopefully people in the chat get this. So every year they make the rookie players have baby voices. And last year, it's just fun. Whatever, Kevin, don't give me that face. It's funny.
I'm just adding some color to the.
It's funny. And the reason why I thought about this, because Erica said Anthony Richardson, is whenever they had Anthony Richardson last year, all he would say was his name, but in like a baby way, he would say Anthony Richardson, and it was hilarious, and it was just really funny. Anyway, I hope you all have gotten a chance to watch it.
It was a great
Weren't they
impersonation.
Weren't they all baby voices except for Bo Nix?
Yes. Yeah. That's why it's funny. This is why I watch those. The excellent writing.
Penix is offended by that. He says, "I'm just as old."
Michael Penix. I don't think they were using. I'm sure they'll probably have some now with Michael Penix.
Right.
Kevin, why did you have to hurt me with Tank Dell?
Because he hurt me more than anybody else. As somebody who had probably over 30% exposure to him. Look, Tank Dell we had the promise of a Texans pass. And honestly, this probably goes to like the entire Texans offense minus Nico Collins. Yeah. I will absolve Stephon Diggs from his sins. He did get hurt. And to an extent, you could absolve some from Tank Dell too, but he played enough games. He played into week 16 where you could not trust him in your lineup. He had 0 games with 10 plus targets. He only had 3 touchdowns on the season.
And then, of course, he goes out with a bang, right, Kev? Like, of course, right when he goes off,
he literally in one half at his best half of the season, best fantasy output in one half versus like the other 15 full games he played. And then so 10 fantasy points per game is not going to cut it in full PPR. I think there's plenty of questions about this Texans offense to where now you're going to get Tank. Well, I mean, Tank Dell's more likely out for 2025 as well. Yeah. So, like, if you got him in Dynasty, you are just holding pattern. By the way, Jameson Williams just scored. That's great. Like,
hello.
For me.
Hey, well, that works for some. Our Vampire League Championship. They had Jameson Williams and Jared Goff going. So we're not in the Vampire League Championship, but
Tank Dell sucks. Get well, buddy.
I had a cosign with Tank Dell, and that really hurts my heart because, like, all summer, all I said every single week was that, like, it wasn't. There were plenty of targets to go around. There wasn't
the value guys.
He's the value guy. He's going to end up by the end of the season. He's going to end up being the one that you were, most excited to take, got the best value on. Blah, 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 blah. And then look what happens, and it's just terrible for all of us. And then to end in that horrific injury, it was just such a heartbreaking season for Tank Dell.
I mean, who knew Nico Collins was the next coming of Julio Jones?
I think, though, that the OC deserves a lot of blame for just what a mess the Texans have been this year. He has set CJ Stroud back by not adjusting their offense at all to where teams know what they're going to run, when they're going to run. And to Kev's point, like Nico Collins, who knew, is like legit one of the best receivers in football straight up, because despite all that, you can't cover him. But it's really hurt like Tank Dell. It's hurt all the other passing options. Like I said, the most disappointing is you had a QB who looked so great in CJ Stroud last year, and he looks human, and people are shitting on him. And in my opinion, it's totally play calling has let him down and nothing else.
It feels like, so last year when they had to rely solely on the pass, it had to be CJ Stroud to pick up the pieces of that offense. When they had Nico, you obviously had Tank Dell, you had Noah Brown, you had Dalton Schultz, you had all those guys, and CJ Stroud was able to support all those guys. Obviously, won Rookie of the Year, a lot of promise. They go out and get Joe Mixon and literally build the
apparently took the Bengals offense, right?
Well, I mean, no, not really. I mean, the Bengals.
I just mean Zach Taylor is notorious for running it right up the gut on first down every single time with Joe Mixon as well.
Exactly.
When he was there.
Well, I mean, like all the bad things about the Bengals
right.
offense.
That's what I mean.
You didn't get the pass rate over expected.
Yeah.
You don't get the condensed offense. But yeah, they built the play out of Joe Mixon, and then they forgot about everybody else and just threw insane route combinations and just. They just could not get out of the Joe Mixon mode where at multiple games he was the only thing that was working in that offense, to where they wouldn't even give the passing game a shot to get any sort of rhythm. It's like once they got a few catches, and not having Nico Collins, that certainly didn't help matters.
For
but
sure.
Once
I think Diggs comes back or no? Because he's a free agent, correct?
He had
a restructured 1-year deal. So that's the worst part about it is he did everything the right way. He restructured his 1-year deal. He wanted to bet on himself, and then he got hurt. He got hurt early enough. What, week 5, 6? Actually, 8.
The Dell's the opposite, right? Like we would be shocked if Dell.
He's not coming back.
I doubt. I mean, we're talking.
They kind of
was a dislocated patella, ACL, MCL, LCL.
All the L's.
All of them.
Yeah. All the L's. I got a really sad CJ Stroud stat for you guys. Since week 7, only Caleb Williams and Cooper Rush have had a worse passer rating than CJ Stroud.
Wow. I hate it here.
Yeah. Rich.
Those are my 2 teams.
Well, I was going to say the Caleb Williams, another team that has terrible play calling, terrible offensive structure.
Yeah.
Don't give up on Caleb Williams is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Rich, give us someone else to be sad about.
I'm really sad about Kyle not tight end 1 Pitts.
How dare you, Rich?
I'm over it. Fucking.
No, I was so excited this year. I like top of my list everywhere. He was my most wanted guy on every team that I had, and just screwed the pooch.
Yeah,
Granted, he did help me in the
champ.
He helped me in the championship this year. Right? Yeah. No. Exactly. The one guy that I was all the way down on versus the guy that I don't know why you're all listening to me. I should probably quit. This is my last show.
Right. Come
It's
on,
been
Rich.
a pleasure.
You said you actually have championships to play in this week. Your boy's got a big donut.
Yeah,
so-
I don't have any championships to play in this week.
Yeah. No. I got. Hey, I had in a desperate measure, I had to start Kyle Pitts because of Chuba Hubbard and going on IR, and he got me my touchdown that I needed.
How
in my
shocked were you he
14
caught
core
that
points.
ball? Because as a Falcons fan, I couldn't believe he caught it, and I couldn't believe they went to him.
I'll be honest. I totally missed it. I was
Penix
asleep.
just doesn't know any better.
It was a
I mean,
beautiful.
it was
it was a
a-
beautiful thing to wake
Oh,
up.
dude,
to.
there was 3 defenders. He threw it in a window, literally about the size of a football, and Pitts caught it.
Came
Threw the
down
ball a
with
mile in the air. He was so excited. Pitts was like,
Penix can put
"Yay!"
it in tight holes.
Penix to Boudet.
that.
Yeah, tight fit Penix.
Yeah.
Big
That was a
Penix.
good
I
one.
knew
That
you
was a
guys
good
weren't
one.
getting out of here without a Penix.
I got a
chance.
disappointment for you, and it's a little different thinking.
No.
Rasheed Rice.
Not his fault. No.
No. But I'm saying we were
No.
all over him. Like
We're not playing
in
that.
this
We're
group.
not playing the injury game. We
And
don't do that. Not on these airwaves.
no, but I'm saying it's
Wrong.
a disappointment.
Wrong.
It's a disappointment in the sense that we were right. He scored 17 points in the first one, 18 in the second one, 29 in the third. We said everywhere, like him in the 7th, 8th round is the best deal you're ever going to get in fantasy. We were right. And then freaking dumbass Patrick Mahomes, I still don't know what he was doing there. Injures his own guy. But we know now
forgot that
Rasheed
was-
Rice is the
Yeah.
real deal. Because
Check him
this is
out.
backing up last year, and we were right, but it's very disappointing that it didn't work out the way it should have.
On all my
Where-
rosters, that's where he's going.
Where does he get drafted next year? How high? Second round?
Because of the injury, you get value again. I really
Probably
do.
same spot. Fifth
Yeah.
round.
I really
Fifth
do.
round? You think he goes that far?
I do. I mean, because people are going to be leery with the injury. Think about the Chiefs'
Worthy's
offense
gonna
and
be
how it
number
took a
1.
step back last year. Like,
'Cause-
I just think that there's a good chance. Like, I think
What
at the
week did
earliest,
he
he'd be a
get hurt in?
third rounder, right?
That was
Third,
early.
fourth.
2, 3, something like that.
Is a 4th week versus the
Fourth week?
Chargers.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, he should be back, right? By the
Mhm.
season starts.
His was a pretty bad injury, though, too.
Yeah.
It was basically the same thing happened to Tank Dell, to be
I
honest.
can see him being the guy that we're talking about in the next category. Just saying. Not trying to pivot us along or anything. Just saying.
Not trying to move us along at all.
How dare you, Rich?
Best. I mean, we do. We have so many of these. We have like 3 more pages left on our show sheet.
Rich is
together.
like, I'm the captain now,
We
bitches.
probably
Uh,
should move this along. Best value in a draft that you got. The best value you got this season. Let's
Joe
see.
Mixon.
I'm just
Joe
gonna say
Mixon.
Lad. Like we've already
Yeah.
talked about Lad, but he was
Lad.
my choice. He was drafted at wide receiver 43 before the beginning of the season,
Mhm.
and one of the top receivers in the league right now. So
Rich.
Well,
your best
I'm going to
player?
just say mine was drafted as wide receiver 48, and Brian Thomas is wide receiver 6. So Brian Thomas was my guy. Yeah.
Nice.
Although I think Kevin's is probably the right one.
Kev's is nice. Yeah, that's a good one.
My man. I could not stop drafting him for the last 2 years, and now Chuba Hubbard, league winner. Just from what he did from week 1 on, we knew we're on kind of borrowed time with Chuba Hubbard, with Jonathan Brooks. We didn't know when he was going to come back, but we rode that wave as long as we could ride it. And who knew that wave lasted until week 16? So we basically got a full season of Chuba Hubbard as RB10 in fantasy points per game. You'll love to see it. They paid him. He deserves it. Now we're probably going to see another full season of Chuba Hubbard because Jonathan Brooks tore his ACL again. So, and they, obviously he has security now. they probably draft somebody else or bring somebody else in, but it's Chuba's backfield. And you got to figure if Bryce Young continues making the steps he's making, because let's face it, once he got back on the field, he wasn't like an absolute zero. Like he's not complete opposite. Like he wasn't like a world beater by any means, but we now see there are like things to work with Bryce Young. And there's like weapons there now too with Jalen Coker, probably going to be next year's Dontavian Wicks, who we can't stop drafting. Come on, we all see it, we all know it. We'll see how octogenary Adam Thielen, if he sticks around.
Not doubting him anymore. You won't get me to do it. You won't get me to doubt Adam Thielen anymore. No, sir.
Xavier Legette, etc. But yeah, Chuba Hubbard's going to be the end of this offense again. So I'm ready to draft him in the. You know what? He's probably going to be like a 4th, 5th rounder. He's probably going to be a value. Once you take 4 wide receivers, I'll take Chuba Hubbard in the 5th and, finish 6th in Best Ball Mania again in my pod.
There you go.
Okay, State, great. Chuba Hubbard, by the way.
Canadian, by the way. Chuba.
Canadian cowboy. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he was Canadian.
So I again, Joe Mixon to me definitely belongs on this list because if you're a 0 RB guy like me, being able to wait to the 4th or 5th round and even some 6th to get a guy that you knew the volume was going to be there, that's great. James Conner is right there. But to me, the real like value, and this is another one where thank you to you guys, I was not high on Chase Brown heading into the summer. And I heard you guys over and over and over again talk him up to where I did it. But the real question was, were you patient enough to wait? Because if you just waited 5-6 weeks, this was the steal of all steals. If not, it probably is a little bitter to even mention his name because you're like, I had him and let him go. But Chase Brown, I mean, that what was it, like 98%, snap percentage and stuff for the last 2 months and the best offense in football. And he was the 37th running back off the board. I mean, that is exactly why guys like Kevin has got a ton of disciples like me who believe in the 0 RB strategy.
I had 2, but they really kind of go together. And one, we had a special request to pour one out for Chris Godwin, who is wide receiver 34.
Yep.
Who
It's a great call.
the season. If he had been able to, if he hadn't gotten injured, his 17.2 points per game that he was averaging, he would be wide receiver 9 right now. And
he would average more than that. They actually had a tougher schedule when he was there than they did the second half.
Yeah. So RIP Chris Godwin. That made me sad. But here's my pick is Baker Mayfield. All right. As my best value here, because you got him at QB 21. If he was even drafted in your league.
Right.
You probably picked him up on waivers in most leagues. He currently is tied for quarterback 4 with 22.5 points per game. He is 2nd in yards overall of quarterbacks. He is tied for 2nd in touchdowns this year. He's an absolute menace. And didn't he throw for 5 touchdowns this
11 multi-touchdown games. He had 7 of 3 or more. And what I loved about Baker this year, the rushing, which we didn't expect. Baker gave you almost 4 points per game on the ground, which that is a really nice present for a quarterback that can sling it like Baker.
Unexpected for him, I think.
He is just another example of why I don't draft a quarterback until the 10th round if it's not Superflex.
Yes.
Well, I don't dislike that strategy unless it's somebody like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. Like to me, the leg guys are worth taking early. Totally agree with you outside of that.
Yeah. Yes. Keith is a leg man. All right. Look
at my wife.
Ads. Man. We talked about some of these last week, but I want to get onto some other ones. Erica, who was your best and your worst?
My best was Jawan Jennings. He's kind of catapulted me into a championship in one of my leagues. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to lose tonight because Jada Daniels decided to, play into overtime last night. But
well, you can
he was one of my
Morris for that actually, but
he was one of my favorite pickups early on in the season. I think like week 1, week 2, everyone was trying to get Jennings, And then the worst was Likely. I mean, everyone spent so much fab week 1 when he came out and had that monster game, and he was just a fab dump. And I mean, we were wrong on that one.
Just
We
think about
really
the
weren't
FFPC
overall,
board with Isaiah Likely
Yeah.
after that Thursday night, Stacy.
Yeah, I was there in person, watched that Thursday night game, and then proceeded to go over to the next room and watch at least 3 people take him in the first round, if not the 101 overall.
Unreal.
Woo! In a league that you just paid $2,000 to be in.
Yeah. Literally imagine.
Yikes. That's rough. That's rough times. Kev, who is your worst and best?
Best, I think. So I didn't use this as like my personal best. As far as like the best, I think it has to be Jelon Jennings, based on what he's provided for you, being like legitimately a clone of Rashee Rice, just on the San Francisco 49ers. The worst has to be Allen Lazard. I saw so many people spending like 70-80% of their fab after he went 4 for 34 and a touchdown against Minnesota. Then he went 6 for 114 and a touchdown against Buffalo. And people just emptying the clip on someone that is literally like one of the worst wide receivers in football.
Didn't he have a good game week 1 too, though, if I remember?
6 for 89 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
People picked him up, and then he went 2 for 11, and then people dropped it again. So, like, people saw those couple games, and he, like, for the first 6 weeks of the season, like, I'm looking at it right now, he averaged over 7 targets per game. So, like, I guess I get it, but we know what Allen Lazard is at this point. Then they go out and get Devontae Adams. He got hurt also. It was not great. And then finished out with 4 receptions in his last like 10 games. So there you go.
Boofy over here in the chat brings up something that we all failed to mention about our guy Rashee Rice. We got that lovely little suspension looming.
He's not going to get suspended. I don't know how I have to keep telling you people. He's got a clean record overall. I know he made some dumb mistakes. Yeah. It's in his home state of Texas, and it's the Chiefs. Has anything ever bad happened to the Chiefs long term? Hell no. They lost him this year. I seriously, I'd be shocked if he's suspended at all, and at the most 1 or 2 games.
I think I mean, I need to know more about the outcome of that legal case. That's all.
Right.
I think the fact you haven't heard anything is good for Rashee Rice, because that means behind. Okay.
That's also the legal process, and that takes a lot of time to kind of navigate too.
Yeah.
Davenport's talked a lot about that.
We'll make a pie wager, Stacy.
I'm not saying that it is.
Yeah, let's do it right now. Put your pie where your mouth is.
Nothing is going to happen. I'm going to give you the clear answer and say it depends.
Can I give my best waiver? Because I think it's Jonnu Smith. I think that's actually the guy.
That's a good one.
Earns it, because he literally, once Tua came back, and that was kind of when everybody was starting to really pick him up at a large number. What was he, like a top 9 tight end, I think, every week, even closing out this last week. For me, the worst one is Jalen McMillan, only because when Godwin went down, I picked him up, spent a bunch of fab. It didn't immediately go well. So what do? I panicked. I dropped him. And then he ends up closing the season being great, to where it's like the worst thing in the world. You wasted money on a player, dropped him, and then he ends up being great. So that's the hardest one for me, to be honest.
Look, never wrong, just early.
I guess. It didn't feel very right.
Marvin Mims, baby. Never wrong, just early. Finally. 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think Mims next year, because we finally seem to have a coach that wants to emphasize.
I'm not fucking drafting that clown. Are you kidding?
I'm not talking about early, but I'm saying he's seen at least 5 targets now, 5 straight weeks. He's never.
I want to see him run more than 5 routes before, like, in a game.
That's fair, but I mean, hey, if
like
you can
Sean
do something
Payton,
really well, do it.
Low key, Dennis Allen, Kendry Millering, Marvin Mims.
Ooh.
That dude hates to play him for whatever reason.
Rich, you got a couple guys to talk about, and we share our worst choice.
We do. So I went with this as being my favorite and least favorite waiver wire ads. Zach Ertz was my favorite, especially at the time. I think he went on to have at least 3 tight end 1 finishes, especially last night, which that is going to give me my championship as long as 3 others are scoring less than 80 points.
Appreciate y'all keep bringing up how awesome Washington was last night versus my Falcons. Thanks, guys.
I'm sorry. It was just a beautiful thing to wake up to. 26 points. I mean, bounced me out of another league, but I was all right with it. But no, Zach Ertz, and then least favorite, worst pickup of all time, Carson Steele. Just with how much I put down on him.
Throw Sammy P. Ryan in there too.
Yeah,
me and Stacy though, we were all in on Steele for a hot minute.
And we were so.
I was too. I drafted him in a bunch of leagues with my last pick.
Didn't we have a back and forth, Stacy, in the group chat with Jim?
But you wanted Samaje P. Ryan, so you don't get to do a celebratory lap either. So,
and to make matters worse, I missed on both of those and told everybody don't touch Kareem Hunt with a 10-foot pole. So it's like I'm 0 for 3.
I did too. I was like, I don't want any part of Kareem Hunt. Right. Oh my gosh. That was mine too. Did you know that Carson Steele averaged 1.3 points per game in a PPR format?
I know he probably had more fumbles than he did touchdowns.
Oh, he didn't have any touchdowns. So
he definitely had more fumbles than touchdowns.
Yeah.
Better than Tank Dell.
Yeah. Tank Dell, whatever. Well, we don't need to talk about Tank Dell anymore. My favorite waiver ad was Sam Darnold this year, averaging 19.5 points per game. He had a career high in wins, 32 passing touchdowns, and a 105.4 passer rating this season.
What is he at, Stacy? Do you have his rank? Like, what QB is he right now? He's got to be like top 8, top 9.
I would think
Darnold?
so.
Sam Darnold is number 8.
Yeah,
with 19.1 points per game, 286 points total.
Yep.
Too bad he'll be on another team next year. Rich.
I don't think so.
I know he's getting franchise tag.
I just like stirring up shit with Rich. Now he's talking shit, so I hope he goes to like play for the damn whoever.
So take those numbers that he has this year. Between the years 2020 and 2023, Sam Darnold only had 10 wins and 26 touchdowns total in those 3 years.
Yep.
So
I saw this little stat about how he's number 14 and he's got 14 wins on the season so far. One of the first quarterbacks to do that for the Vikings. I think just for the Vikings, I'm pretty sure.
It's a shame that he's going to end the season with 14 wins.
He better change that jersey number.
Dang. You know what? I don't feel so bad about the second part because the second part of the stat was the fact that the previous quarterback that played for them only has 8 wins and he wears number 8 as well.
Oh,
Kirk Cousins.
Guys, we've got several more categories and not quite as much time. So tell me which ones that you are dying.
Why did we get the hook?
Well, I mean,
or do we? I'm saying, do we have a new time schedule, or what's the deal?
Well, I was going to say I don't know that people want to listen to 2 hours of us tonight.
People will listen to whatever we want them to.
Can we do right and wrong?
Yeah.
Can we do the players we're right and wrong
about? Let's do right and wrong. Those were good. Those were good ones. So, like, Erica, who were you right about and who were you wrong about?
So I feel like I was right about Hubbard. I was drafting him everywhere that I could. Also, Oklahoma State guy. I'm always going to be.
I didn't know that.
I'm always going to be, I'm always going to be into the Oklahoma State guys. Who I was wrong about is sad. Rico Dowdle.
Yeah.
I was the Dowdle truther, and I mean the Cowboys' offense just, was terrible this season.
Has he not been?
Were you wrong?
Yeah, I was gonna say he's been pretty good. Fantasy wise,
average. I mean, it was more disappointing. I was hoping for a top RB finish, and that didn't happen.
Yeah. Did I tell you all about? I know I talked about it on the Dynasty 365 show, but did I tell you all about the trade that happened in one of my Dynasty leagues that doesn't have a trade deadline?
No.
Last week before the championship, so there was the semifinals. Somebody traded Christian McCaffrey away for Rico Dowdle straight up.
That's terrible.
It did not go well for him. He did not make the championship.
Ooh.
Like if
I actually don't hate it though.
I don't hate it. Yeah,
he's done.
Yeah, if he would have waited for the championship week, like if he would have made it to the championship week and then made that trade for like like he needs to have a running back, I would have understood it. But the fact that he wasn't in the championship yet, I was like, ooh, oh no, buddy.
You think he's done? Is that from your Mar-a-Lago source or what?
It's,
CMC.
I just want to say that it is from my Mar-a-Lago source, and I do.
Are they
I
shredding the documents in the bathroom now?
Did you guys
He
see
got them in boxes next to the
this
goal.
year before yet another horrific injury? Stick a fork in him. He done. Like
I
it's
wouldn't
over.
be surprised. Like if you told me this time next year that CMC like retired or something, I wouldn't be.
They were
shocked.
already talking about that, like the pain and stuff in his legs. Like my wife's a big fan of. Then his wife have like a big social media presence or whatever, and she spoke at length about the fact that he already like sometimes has trouble getting out of bed, and like that's something that's very important to her. And now he's got another leg injury on top of everything else. I really do. I think he's done. Like I'd be shocked if he's, like how much longer do you want to do this and keep blowing out your knees? When especially football contracts, he's going to get the guaranteed part of it, but who's going to pay him a lot more money for another contract? What did I say?
What you laughing about?
Which dirty word did I say? Come on, Kev. Come on, Kev. Come on, Kev. Come on, Kev. DM me then at least. I want to know. Yeah. Private chat.
Yeah.
Was it touchdown?
Private chat.
JMO touchdown, and then he jumps over the little barrier and nearly like kills himself over here.
He scored again?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, JMO just
both
scored
of those
again.
touchdowns were literally things I need.
Yeah,
Oh my god, I saw
he
that.
jumps over the barrier and then like
take it back,
slips
Kev.
and
If
falls.
you needed it, I'm okay with it, but it does.
That
hurt
pretty
me.
much cements
Oh, that
a
was nice.
championship for me.
That was
So.
such a nice little trick play. Did you guys see that? Oh. All
And
right.
I
if
had
you're
to
watching at
start.
home,
I had
take a
to
look.
start
That was
JMO
lovely.
because of Chuba Hubbard.
I can't
That-
believe
Right.
people think the Lions are still going to win the Super Bowl with this defense, by the way. No way.
They're just going to outscore everybody, Keith. That's
Not
all
gonna
they're going to
happen.
do. Outscore everybody.
Not going to happen. They might get a few to that. You're not going to. I'm sorry. Erica, were you done with your okay. Sorry.
Oh man. Kev, who are you right? Who are you wrong about?
I will take the flowers and the victory lap on Bucky Irving as the guy I drafted pretty much everywhere in the late rounds. I'm very rarely wrong. I never like to admit when I'm wrong. As the most right person in this house right now.
Definitely on this show.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I guess a player that I did get wrong about was Josh Jacobs, and I'm going to only give myself half wrong on that because we do not know what would have happened had AJ Dillon not gone on IR, had Marshawn Lloyd not gotten hurt and lost pretty much his entire rookie season. We know Matt LaFleur wanted to use a committee backfield.
I'll give you the second part. I don't know about Dillon.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm on board with Marshawn Lloyd.
But the fact that they brought
I know
Dillon
what you mean.
back
Yeah.
and got rid of AJ, I mean, they were going to use him.
Yeah, we
Granted,
like
no,
to do it,
we wouldn't have agreed with it. I wouldn't agree with it because I think AJ Dillon's awful.
Not in a way that
Do you
Probably.
think LaFleur changes moving forward his strategy? Because he's been that way. Like
He's going to have to because we know they're literally afraid to pass the ball. But the specific set of circumstances for Josh Jacobs to be a league winner happened. Yeah. There was nobody else in that backfield. That backfield cleared out. They had to go get Chris Brooks off of Miami's practice squad. He basically was like working in tandem with Emmanuel Wilson all season, but it was never in doubt that when they wanted to move the ball efficiently, it wasn't through the passing game, especially after the bye. It was Josh Jacobs being a literal workhorse. He was their offense then, now, forever throughout the WWE graphic. It was Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Rich, who are your guys?
I'm going to pivot a little bit from what I have on the show.
We have a shared one also on this one.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. Well, I'm pivoting from the one that I was right on a little bit because I realized that I wasn't right on Zach Ertz to begin with.
That's the most Midwest I've ever heard you when you said, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, just wait. There'll be more.
By night.
No, Justin Jefferson. I said that he was quarterback proof. There was a lot of people that were really worried about the fact that it was Sam Darnold that was throwing to him and everything. And he proved again he is the wide receiver one in the league. Like
Jacob Rickroad blocked me on Twitter because I said he was QB proof.
Who did?
Jacob Rickroad. Fuck that. Stacey, you know who he is?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. He's a big he used to work for RotoViz. He's kind of a fucking blowhard. I know he's not listening to this, so I can say that stuff, but he is literally a dude that loves to argue over nothing. But yeah, so
and that was the hill he wanted to die on.
That was the hill he wanted to die on.
It's like, okay, did you see it with Nick Mullins last year, bro?
Exactly.
Oh my
After I've disagreed with that dude on Twitter for the last half decade, and that was the straw.
Yeah,
that's what did it. Who's your wrong pick?
Oh yeah, my wrong pick that we share. I already talked about it. I don't want to hear about it, but it's Kyle Pitts.
God dang it, guys!
Yeah, that was mine too.
In the nuts.
Sorry,
he kicked himself in the nuts. What do you want?
I'm kicking myself. Yeah, you kicking my own ass. Do you mind?
I'm just saying I don't want to think about it anymore. Okay, like I've had to live with it for 4 years and watch Jamar Chase and Pina Hisul and freaking.
he had 6 weeks.
Erica, did you get that reference? Real quick, Erica, did you get the reference that I made? Damn.
No.
I thought you'd get that one.
What about I'll wipe my own ass, Erica? You get that one? I'll wipe my own ass.
Oh, that's
from
rum. The Adam Sandler movie.
Did I tell you Scuba Steve stopped by earlier today?
Scuba Steve.
Bad. Oh,
nobody likes the stinky kid. My kid's a stinky kid. I've seen a lot of stinky kids in my day, and your gun is by far the smelliest.
The goddamn Jets.
Incredible. Yes.
Big Daddy. Oh my God. Wasn't that Adam Sandler's wife who was playing the waitress when he says that about the Jets? I think.
Yep.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The goddamn Jets.
My right, and I'm just gonna give you a quick little spiel because it was a very quick time to be right. I only got to be right for 3 glorious weeks, but it was on Kate Otten, and I'm going to treasure that for the rest of my life. Weeks 7 through 9, where he finished his tight ends 5, 1, and 3 overall, and I loved it. And I had Kate Otten everywhere, and that made it worth it. I was wrong, so wrong on Kirk Cousins, and I know that that's like the reason why all my Best Ball Mania teams just freaking tanked. And in hindsight, I guess like picking a quarterback who was born in the same decade as me was probably not a good decision.
Could be worse. You could have gave him $100 million guaranteed.
That's true. I could have, not really, because I don't have $100 million to give someone guaranteed.
We don't either. Now we don't have any money.
But he had 1 touchdown since week 10 and 17 consecutive quarters, one right after the other without a
Oh,
passing touchdown.
I'm well aware.
Woof.
Seems bad.
So for mine that I was most right about, pair of UGA guys, Bowers and Ladd, to the point that people I think thought I was being a homer. I tried to tell them that, like, look, these guys are different. I swear. And then the other 2 guys I was really right about were the Washington pair of Daniels and McLaurin. McLaurin I was on the whole time just because if you look at the receivers, QBs he had through him for the first 5 years of his career. Daniels was a late deal where once I started seeing him going where he was in draft just with the rushing upside. But don't worry, I got a lot of mistakes as well. For starters, don't draft Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry with a top 8 pick. Yeah, that didn't work out so well. Brandon Ayuk, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Zamir White, sorry. And Zach Moss. Again, Chase Brown, luckily doing the show with you guys, I evolved, but there was a time I was recommending everywhere, hey, take Zach Moss. So the good was really good, but some of the bad was obviously really bad. And again, Barkley, I think I read, is that correct, that 51% of the teams in the championship had Saquon Barkley in fantasy this year? So that's about as bad as it gets.
I would not be surprised about that. Can we all agree that the fantasy MVP is going to be Saquon Barkley?
I think I was going to say I didn't know what Keith had, but we all picked, yeah.
I did.
Is
I
he- is
think
he-
Lamar belongs there as well, just because of the consistency. I don't know.
He
if
averaged more fantasy points per game than Barkley.
See, I think he does deserve,
Is that what the
especially
most
like
he
with
needed
Henry
after
back there
that?
for him to be what he was. Because Lamar was.
Is
I
there another
thought,
JMO touchdown?
Brock Purdy rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
God dang it! That's
Literally the
only
guys
way
I
can get DFS
need
points.
are
Finally, we're
it's
getting
written in the
some
stars, folks.
These
scoring. over here.
dude, this Lions deep boy, y'all are gonna torch them next week, Richie Rich.
I need Debo and Gibbs to
Yeah.
do stuff.
Oh, there's
Girl,
plenty of
you are-
sweetheart.
I don't know about that Debo.
14, and there's 6 minutes left in the second quarter, so I think they're gonna be
I almost
okay.
played Kyler Murray. Ooh, boy, we might be some red.
Ooh.
I played Kenny Pickett.
Boy,
in
I'm glad
my-
I called that guy, Kev. Another Adam Sandler reference for you younger folks.
Oh man. All right, so we're gonna do one more negative before we end on a positive note. Who's your most infuriating player to own this year on your to roster on your team?
I didn't
Eric.
realize that I picked him as many times as I did. But
You
Kyle
did, man. You
God
really
damn
did help
Rich!
Jeez.
You really
this
hated
is-
this guy.
This is how mad I was about this season, Keith. You have no idea. I was so
you know how
mad.
mad I am that you took Pitts this much when I was telling you all summer to take Bowers?
I will listen to you moving forward. Believe me.
I mean,
Oh
I
my
did.
gosh.
I'm just saying. I listened.
Yeah, my life will be better.
Oh, Erica, who is your person?
Mine was Najee, like to the point where I was sitting him in weeks just because like he was conceding touches to Warren and it was
Say it.
frustrating.
Terrible otherwise.
Say it,
Yeah.
Cordell Patterson.
Yes, and
Yeah.
Patterson. It was terrible having Najee and not being able
That's
to trust
one
him
where
at all.
Kevin and Stacy were definitely not wrong, just late because they said Jalen Warren, and it took the Steelers a long time. But
Mhm.
I do really like Warren, moving forward next year in that Steelers offense. He looks good.
Another Oklahoma State Cowboy.
Is he really?
Yeah,
Little
and
mini running
Justice
back you
Hill.
over there. How
Justice
about
Hill
that?
as well for the Ravens.
I did not know that.
Dang.
Ev, why do you have to hate on Sam Laporta?
He's been more of a porta potty than Laporta. this year. Look, anytime you take a tight end and the tight end won, presumably in the third round, you're hoping for someone a bit generational. And while I didn't draft that much Sam
I was
Laporta,
gonna
and I
say,
really
come on,
only
Kev,
did
you
it-
were on my side on that.
I really didn't draft a lot of Laporta, and I did only for exposure purposes to round out my best ball portfolio because you don't want to ever be without players.
Yeah.
So
That's fair. I do a bunch of
Uh,
DFS lines. I get it. Sometimes you just got to cover all bases just in case.
yeah, but the thing that really crippled him is the ascension of Jameson Williams. That was the one thing where you had Amon-Ra St. Brown, and it was already kind of ridiculous that we anointed him as tight end 1 when he's not even the first option on his own team. That's Amon-Ra St. Brown and always will be in the passing game. But the fact that Jameson Williams absolutely put Sam Laporta in the cuck chair this year, I don't think he's going to get 650 yards this year. He might not even get 80 targets. I think he right now is at 63. I don't know what he's at in this game, but
It's a great player. It's just the same, especially with Gibbs too, which was the big thing for me. Like Gibbs became such a big part of that offense the second half of the season on top of JMO last year.
The thing is because we had such an aging out of tight end where we wanted to say
That's fair.
anoint somebody right away from ahead of Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Sam Laporta put together a great
Mark
season in his rookie
Andrews.
season.
Yep.
Yeah, we wanted to be like, all right, this is kind of a look
new
into
gen.
the future. We want this guy to be the tight end 1. And lo and behold, he might not even be like tight end 8 next year because it's going to be Bowers, McBride. I mean, I don't even know at this point. Probably Kelce would be third, but even then, who knows?
We were looking for Degrassi next generation is what we were looking for.
Yeah, we're not looking for Aubrey in the wheelchair. No.
Well, can I just, as somebody who was very high on Sam Laporta his rookie year,
I'm sorry if I hurt you, by the way.
You didn't hurt me. It's fine. And I didn't.
Stacy, look at me. It's not your fault.
He hurt her.
Okay?
I know it's not my fault.
Stacy, no, it's not your fault.
There's good people on both sides.
You can't hug her at this point. You gotta be. Oh man.
Go ahead, Stacy. I'm sorry. I was just
That's
messing with
okay.
you a little.
It's fine.
one of
My
my
pick
favorite
was
movies.
Jalen Waddle, and he sucked this year. He had 2 touchdowns, and he's going to end the year under 1,000 yards for the first time in his career. He is only at 700 now. He was my most infuriating person to deal with.
Another guy too decided
hurt
to
me
get
a lot,
going
too.
right as he got hurt, which I love it when that happens. It's like, oh, you're going to show a pulse. Travis Kelce was mine. And why I say that is because he's, I think, 3rd in fantasy points. He's like top 5 in receptions, like all these things for tight end. But let's be honest, it was not fun, especially with where you had to pick him. It's been a huge disappointment. I kind of assumed they were not going to cruise at 15-1, and this was going to be a little tougher year for the Chiefs where they had to throw more. Boy, again, was I wrong on that one. And I just can't wait, because we'll talk about this when we start drafting playoff teams. You better believe the Travis Kelce season is coming, and it is coming quickly, because we saw this last year where he didn't do much, and then the minute games really mattered. He was vintage Travis Kelce. So he was, my most infuriating, along with, honestly, Jameson Williams, who was another guy that it seemed like if the weeks I didn't start him, he'd have 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. And when I did, he'd have like 4 for 50, or whatever, or get 3 targets.
I have an honorable mention, by the way. And I want to say, just looking back at it,
has one too.
it is so laughable that he was being drafted in like the 5th round. That's one of mine too. That was actually my biggest bust. We didn't do that category, but that was Marvin. And I think if he was not drafted at the end of the 1st round, I think we'd have a better kind of viewpoint on him going into year 2, because he had a successful rookie season. Like, not a lot of receivers are even doing like what he's done as a rookie. Over 100 targets, 57 catches, 822, 7. Like, that's a good rookie season. But obviously, we expect way more at the end of the 1st round if you're drafting a guy that's supposed to be like a generational guy.
Not generational.
But my pick was, again, hilarious that we were drafting him in like the 5th round. Dalton Kincaid. Like, what the fuck were we doing?
I'm with you. I did make that mistake a few times. Yeah, that was awful.
That's brutal.
Like, Dalton Kincaid might not even get drafted over Dalton Schultz.
Can I say, where did it come from?
The draft from him. Since the draft for him, he was getting buzz last year.
I'm saying he didn't do anything really his rookie year, and we all just we all fell for it.
Because he's a young, sexy rookie, and it was an empty, pretty much an empty wide receiver room that we couldn't project, and they had used high capital on him. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we know at this point he's not good, at least not right now. I mean,
I think Ray Davis outscored him this year.
I think though, isn't it like usually like tight ends like year 3 is when they really like kind of like thrive?
Oh man, if that's true, wait till you see year 3 of Brock Bowers. Good God.
Wait till you see year 1 of Ronnie Gadsden next year, by the way.
Ooh. All right. Well, let's end it on something positive.
Clip that.
Player that we're most excited for next year.
Drake May.
Yes.
Oh my God. Get that. That dude needs like 4 new wide receivers. And I'm excited. I'm even excited for him to get like Josh Palmer. But he's gonna get a top wide receiver. I think he's gonna get T. Higgins. I think
they do a better job of deciding who those receivers are, because remember, this is the same organization that had the Ladd McConkey pick and traded it for Jalen Polk and the drizzling shits of Javon Baker. So
they need to get rid of who's Alex Pelt? Isn't he the offensive coordinator?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, they need to get rid of him first of all. But yeah, they need to that's all it's gonna take is like more functional wide receivers, more wide receiver talent. Because we know what Drake May can do with this group of Kendrick Bourne and Demario Douglas and Kayshon Boutte and all these other guys, literal wide receiver 4s and 5s on almost any other team. And the fact that he's doing what he's doing, get that guy talent, and he's a QB 7 next year.
What's the difference between him and Jaden Daniels minus Terry McLaurin, because I'm saying ones if Washington ends up getting one or two really big playmakers to go along with Terry McLaurin next year with Daniels rushing upside, who would you rather have then at that point, May or Daniels?
Oh, I want Daniels is on like a QB like 1.
Okay,
2, 3
I see what you're saying. You want to see what May's going to evolve into.
I want to see what May can do with with functional NFL weapons.
That's
like
fair.
if they can get a T. Higgins and then grab like a Luther Burden or something like that, like it's pants off for Drake.
What would you do if they end up with the number 1 pick? Would you just take the best wide receiver, or would you trade?
You take Travis Hunter.
You
got to take whoever you take whoever you can get to improve.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Sorry, sorry for the pants off. I didn't want to get
I was like, is that like
course.
a good thing? I guess like pants off.
Oh yeah, pants flying straight off.
Yeah,
it's like that on NBC, the tearaway pants.
Yes.
Yeah. One of my favorite gifs is
Y'all ready for this?
Ned Flanders doing the little wiggle with his hands up in the air and his pants falling off. You see that for me, something good's happening. Just saying.
Oh yeah,
that's hilarious. Erica, who are you most excited about?
Ooh, I would say Bo Nix. Seeing him play this week too was a really fun game to watch, and hopefully he can get himself some weapons as well, and the offense continues to be better.
He gets his AARP card next year too, so that's got to be
Marvin Mims like
his NFL pension.
All right, Rich, who's your guy?
Oh man, Malik Neighbors. Really excited. We already talked about him already, so not a whole lot to add there. But yeah, get him a quarterback that can get him the ball, and I can't wait to see what he does.
Nice.
I do think that
Oh, sorry, Rich. I thought you were done.
I thought I was too, but I was just wrapping off with I do think that he'll be a round 1, top of round 2 kind of guy.
You sure you don't want Kyle Pitts?
That's who he's excited not to draft. He's excited to have 0 Kyle Pitts exposure next year.
I'm still not drafting.
So for me, it's Puka Nacua. I don't think people realize what has happened because of the injuries and just everything. That unbelievable rookie season he had, where it's like, well, there's no way he can repeat that. He's not only repeated it, he's exceeded
better.
it. And he's got Cooper Kupp on the field with him, which is just ridiculous because almost everybody said the whole reason all of his numbers were so great was because of the volume, because Kupp was there and they had no other option. He's first in target rate. He's first in yards per route run. He's first in fantasy points per target. And I don't think Stafford's done. Like, as long as Stafford's coming back next year, Sean McVay's the head coach, and we get a full, healthy season of Puka Nacua, I think he could seriously have the greatest fantasy season ever by a wide receiver. Just look at what he has done over, basically the 6-7 weeks since he's returned. I can't wait to see what's next for Puka, because as Kevin talks about all the time, what do the Rams love to do? They love to play their guys all the freaking time in a very condensed offense. And that is very good news for Puka Nacua. And that was why so many people were wrong about Kyron Williams this year, because people were, scared away. And then yet again, he got all that volume. So Puka's my guy for sure.
3.55 yards per route.
Outrageous.
How about pants off?
Do you guys remember a couple weeks ago in week 15 when we won in the Vampire League and you guys were adamant that we had to take Cooper Kupp instead of Ladd McConkey? I'm just curious if you guys remember that.
I didn't get I wasn't involved in that discussion.
Yeah, because it was all Cooper Kupp and I wanted Ladd McConkey.
No, I'm saying I literally was not involved in that discussion. I think I did after I left.
You 100% were, because we were like, Keith, how can you not be on brand with Ladd McConkey?
Roll tape.
We're gonna have to look that up. I promise.
What's that commercial? Throw the flag.
Now I will admit that I was very stoned for that episode, like I am for every episode. But I still believe that is false information.
No way.
Doesn't sound
I was
like
I was the only one who wanted Ladd over Cooper Kupp. The
doesn't
only
sound like
person.
me at all.
I was
Nico.
shocked.
Did I say that? Nico said
that. Which leads me to say that I'm excited about Ladd McConkey next year.
Yeah. And lad,
for
we
all
trust.
the reasons that we've already said, most of which is that he currently leads all rookies in receptions over expected and receiving yards over expected this season, and he is second most receiving yards over expected from the slot by a rookie since 2018.
The man numbers are absurd.
Yes.
Like, and also just he's still only averaging like just over 6 targets per game. They have yet to unleash like, hey, let's just throw it to the lad all the time. Completely 100% cosign on that.
Absolute stud. Love it so much.
I'm excited for what Scampers is excited for.
Scampers is super excited about Derrick Henry being even cheaper next season, and I co-sign on that. Absolutely.
Will he be though? I think people learned that you put a running back next to Lamar, good things happen. I actually think that Barkley and Henry will be overvalued to where like they're, you know what I'm saying, going above like guys like Justin Jefferson, Puka, stuff like that, where I'd much
Barkley's
rather
going to go 101. I think Barkley's going 101 next year.
And again, I'd rather have a wide receiver. So, but
right.
I don't think that's right, but I think he will.
I agree. No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I don't have any exposure was because I didn't want protest. I didn't want to pay that much for Barkley this year, and then he was like going at like the end of the first, like top of the second, like, and I'm sure that guy's gonna pay first.
Well, at least you just didn't want to pay. I was just flat out saying it's not worth it. He's not going to get the touchdowns because it hurts, and it's like, yeah, good call, Keith. At least I wasn't the Giants on Hard Knocks saying, well, what? It's not like he's going to rush for 2,000 yards. Whoops.
Yeah.
That damn film.
You know, guys, we've got some league updates for you before we pack it in for tonight. Just to give you guys an update, the women's basketball tournament that we drafted back in March of this year has been going on all year. It's going to wrap this week 17. Our top 3 right now are, and I put out this graphic, I think last week or the week before, and it hasn't really changed very much. We got Angie. I don't know if Angie is still around in the chat or not, but Angie is leading overall all 3 divisions. So we named our divisions after very influential women in fantasy football. So we have Susie Colbert, Erin Andrews, and Melissa Stark divisions. Angie comes out of the Erin Andrews division, which is where I was, and she's absolutely throttled everybody.
You're saying Angie kicked both your asses is what
she sure did. The first and second place overall came out of this division. And we've got Angie.
So which one of y'all was second, since first and second overall came out of that division?
Well, Gina Noble is second. I am currently in 11th place.
How does Gina win all these? Every time I see Gina's name in the league or whatever, she's
Gina's
like
killing it.
Gina is having a
girl
year right now.
Hello.
Angie right now has 216.8 points. She's got George Kittle going tonight. I don't think that's going to be. Gina's got 147. She's got Amon-Ra St. Brown going tonight. Don't think her 147 is going to be enough to dethrone Angie. And then our girl Rachel Tootsie Pop coming in third place right now out of the she is out of the Susie Colbert division. She's got 196 points tonight and with nobody going, and I don't think anybody's close to beating her in her division. So I think that's probably going to be how it ends up. But those ladies are leading it. We will put out a little graphic tomorrow about who the winner was. And then the winner is going to get a special little prize from us in the mail for winning.
It's a pie in the face. Surprise.
They're going to open it and just launch
it. That'd be amazing. Love the Fantasy and Friends waiver wire / draft show.
We could find some. You know how they do those, like how you can hire someone to go like do like a singing telegram or something.
They sing and then right at the end, congratulations.
Who's it? Is it the Colts mascot that does that all the time?
Oh my god, I don't know, but
I'm pretty sure. Like, look it up. The Colts mascot, like, he loves to pie people in the face that are wearing jerseys from the opposite team.
Oh, Blue, that's his name, right?
You guys know about the glitter bombs, right? Like, we went through a stage about 5-10 years ago where anytime somebody would wrong us, we would just send them a glitter bomb.
Yeah. Well, good to know Jim Irsay loves himself a good cream pie.
Oh, no.
Jim Irsay likes stuff.
I was gonna. Well,
likes
never mind.
A little nose candy and a little
and a little prescription.
Oh my gosh. Kev, you are currently in line to win the FFPC. We did a $35.
What else is
draft.
new?
Yeah, we did this back in. We drafted
May.
it May 9th.
That's
I've
impressive.
got it up. You want me to pull it up?
You
Yeah.
do. Mine is taking forever to pull up right now.
Here we go.
And
That
this,
is
so you set a lineup in here, but it wasn't head-to-head matchups. It was just straight points based, and then the top 6 made it into a playoff.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
not
so-
best ball though, right, Kev?
No.
No.
Yeah. I was just making sure.
Oh no, I probably forgot about that one.
Last login September 29th.
She's
There are
like,
a
I thought
couple
it
of
was
those.
just set it and forget it.
No, but
Well,
yeah. So
The prize for this one is you can win a credit for a Fantasy Pros team, which is a $350 value, or
That's
you
like
could just take
pass.
$300 cash.
As I say, there's the case. Give him the cash.
I think honestly, I might put that
Give
into
me-
the Fantasy Pros playoff.
Yeah,
challenge.
take a free team.
No, the playoff challenge. I mean,
Oh, the playoff challenge. Yeah.
yeah, I think I
you
might
do
put in a couple of those. The 125s
There you go. And
Wait,
What do they draft those on, Kev?
Rich, you're in this
on
one
here,
too. Did you
on
know?
FFPC.
we're
I need
gonna
to
do one of
download
those
FF.
for our.
Nope.
I want to do
For our
some of these
tournament.
playoff teams.
Me and Rich have our full fab because we did not even know about this team this league.
That's hilarious.
My bad.
Thanks for the donation, guys.
You are
Yeah.
welcome.
You're welcome. Happy to help in any way I
But
can.
we have no idea who Quad Squad is. I think they were just
don't.
That's my wife.
Leg man.
Stand her legs, man.
We had Sean Green. Sean's one of our friends of the show.
beat him in the
he popped in
last week.
here. Let's see. Jorge drafted, I think, in this. I think that's all the names I recognize.
The
Right.
river her here on River Rat, I know is in the deposit.
What
Kingdom.
is the rest of your name? Or is it just reasonable?
Hey, Rich,
just-
you took
that's it.
Kyle Pitts
Okay.
in the 3rd round, just so you know.
Why?
But I had
Erica.
Rashid Rice in the 10th round in this
Like,
league.
We
Yeah.
did that on for
Hurt.
a whole 6 weeks straight, Kev, where it was like, remember about the 8th round? We'd be like, it's Rashid Rice time. It's Rashid Rice
Right.
time.
Oh, they gave you a C plus.
That's always my favorite. It's always the best teams, and it's like, yeah, this draft sucks.
Can you see
I
the
took
other one?
Kincaid in the 2nd round.
Right.
Oh,
That's right.
Who
Can you
did?
see the other teams?
Erica?
Can you
I
pull up
did.
our
You
teams?
were
I want
drunk.
to see my team.
I took Kincaid before Bowers.
You were drunk. It's okay. Monica probably drugged you.
So much fun going back and looking at it. This is back in May though. Like that's what I always like looking at. Like back in here's a draft board for that.
Oof.
Oh yeah. Okay, hold on.
Marvin
There we go.
Harrison. I benched him for Chicaconquo.
Man, I had a good team.
Ooh.
I'm number 9. Look at
Which
one
what
is
I took
Erica?
number 9 over first overall.
Oh.
Which team is Erica's?
Like it just
5.
keeps getting worse. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'm on Ross St. Brown, Josh Jacobs.
Erica. This
I
could
had
have been a
Laporta,
squad.
Wilson, and Stephon Diggs, y'all.
It's decent.
I made it in the playoffs though, and Kevin, I would have beat you if I had actually
Well, I mean,
started.
if you think about it, there's 2
that
teams that
was-
didn't know to change
and I
their
was not.
rosters. You better have made the playoffs, Stacy.
Well, look at my first 3 picks: Laporta,
Yeah.
Wilson, and Stephon Diggs.
What
Yeah.
could have been?
Well, I mean, the second and
Mhm.
third picks started great. And then the first pick, Laporta's going to end up, 6th, 7th tight end overall? Somewhere around there? That probably about right?
Even like that, he's
10th.
had a lot better the last few
In
weeks.
PPR, he's 10th?
Pretty sure, yeah, because I was gonna call him one of the stinkiest porta potties, but he did end up as tight end 10.
What is Janu Smith now? Because I want to know if what's his name's got to dye his hair blonde.
Let's see.
He needs to be a top
Yes.
5 tight end, is what we need.
Oh,
Hang on.
tight end number 4.
Yes.
Yeah, Sam Laporta coming in with 10.2 in PPR.
And the power of waivers on that too, because Jonnu Smith, as soon as Goddard got hurt,
Mhm.
has been my starter for the last half season.
Oh, you drafted him. Good for you.
Hey, I
Smith?
got 8th
No,
in this league.
No, I didn't draft John.
Oh,
Smith.
the person you played against drafted him. How hateful is that? That's amazing.
Really?
In the finals, yeah, it was his 14th pick.
And last but not least, Angie.
Well, his
Yeah,
first
Angie.
two,
I
can
swear
we
they're-
talk about his first 4 picks though?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
if Collins
Oh,
and
yeah.
Evans don't miss any, he went Barkley, Gibbs, Collins, Evans. Holy smokes! And Kev's like, not good enough to beat me, brah.
Look, Justin Jefferson cures everything.
Damn
Yeah.
right he does.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Achan's been a freaking beast too, though.
Imagine if I had Rasheed Rice the whole season.
I know.
Imagine if me and Rich actually played.
That
Look at
too.
Bucky. You got Bucky. So basically, your 14th round turned into Bucky and Janu Smith.
I don't think it
Sorry,
would help
Quad
any,
Squad.
honestly, Erica.
Yeah.
I mean, Erica, honestly, look at my team. As soon as you hit round 3, Kyle Pitts, Deebo Samuel, Evan Ingram, Mark Cooper, Deontay Johnson, Zach Moss, Austin Eckler.
That is one of the
Aaron
worst
Jones.
stretches I've ever seen.
I got an ulcer just from looking at that.
I know. Gosh, I have to.
What
There's
y'all
no
don't
saving
know
it.
At
is
least he
Rich
had
was
Jordan
proving a
Poole.
point. He was proving a point with this draft, and he was correct.
What's the
So,
point?
Imagine
The-
getting Terry
can't-
McLaurin on the side.
dude, how did Jorge? Is that Jorge's team? Look at this.
That is.
Lamb, Bowers. Well, I guess I see why ETN Del Stroud, but then he went Montgomery, Addison. He's got BT.
Got Jameson
Like-
Williams too.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Dang.
saying. Like
Brian
guess
Thomas, yeah.
those 3 picks in the middle killed him. Like if he'd have been better 3 through 5, that would have been.
But he had
such a
Dylan
good
Lobby
spot.
to bring it all together.
There you go. That was another one of my ones that I blocked out that I shouldn't have taken so much everywhere. Don't.
You know what's funny is that when I was at the Kings Classic in the auction, like the live one, and I JJ Zacharyson bid $1 on Dylan Lobby, and I said $2, and the look he gave me could have killed me. Imagine that for like Dylan fucking Lobby.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
Poor Dylan Lobby. Last but not least, we got our Vampire League. Right now, it looks like Stacy Glansman's gonna head out with the win here. She is nail in the Goffin. And Jared Goff is certainly doing it for her. She's at 152 right now. She still has Jamison Williams, George Kittle, and Jared Goff left to go. Or left going right now. And her opponent has no one left. So I feel
Suck
pretty
it.
saying that
I don't think you have to feel pretty safe saying. I'm pretty sure that's called
Yeah.
math. That unless a lot of
Unless
negative
there's a lot of
points
negative
that
points.
I'm
Oh, is
not
that what
aware
it's
of.
called?
Unless there's a
Well,
lot of negative points.
Fine, Kev.
I think she's gonna do it. I think she's gonna do it. So
Say it one more
I
time
will
and
be
I'll
getting
believe
with
you.
her. Yeah, I'll be getting with her afterwards to send her trophy.
No, it's not a trophy. It's a pie in the face. Congratulations.
That's not pie in the
I'll go
face.
personally
So
deliver them
randomly
if you
just
need
saying
me
these
to.
things.
Yeah, I just drive up and be like, hey, I'm Keith from the show.
You're gonna drive all the way to San Francisco for
Yeah,
Angie.
for a pie in the face. Yeah, sure, why not?
Yes.
Leave it
Guys,
to
that
45 and 2 zigzags. Baby, that's all I need.
Maybe
Guys, that's going to do it for us this week on your very first or your last draft show of 2024. We're going to be back on the 7th of January. We're going to be doing, kicking off our playoff tournaments. We're going to be doing playoff tournaments with the FFPC. We're going to be doing a Scott Fishbowl one. Did you
I
guys
signed
see
up for the Scott Fishbowl.
Me too. I signed up for the Scott Fishbowl
You
one.
go
Did you
heel or
guys-
face?
heel, obviously.
I mean, we all know I'm a red meat baby face. So I signed
You
up
really
for it.
are. Fucking give Keith the hot tag.
Look at little Nico.
He's like, what is this thing?
What's going on?
Me and my
Guys,
good
we are going to
boy.
be back with that. We're going to be putting out information about which drafts we're going to be doing, so you guys can jump in, draft with us if you want. That way we can have some fun during the NFL playoffs that are coming up very soon. Again, if you had a good time with us tonight, all of you that are still watching all of our shenanigans here on Monday night during Monday Night Football, please give us a like and subscribe, a follow if you haven't done that yet already. You can find all of us online. Please, I encourage you to go give us all a follow. You can find Keith at Keith Fleming. Rich is at Rich Sickles GBM.
Yeah.
At America with a K 108.
Here we go now, the real time.
Enthusiast over here, aka Kev, is at K Thompkins II on the Twitter and also on the Blue Sky. You can find him over there as well. I think all of us are on Blue Sky too. I am at Stacy_Perez 83. We will be back again next week, like I said, with playoff tournament drafting. So be on the lookout for where we're going to be drafting next week so you can jump in. And other than that, everybody have an excellent and very safe New Year's. We will see you in 2025.